In order, the Rebbe explains, in order for the world to benefit from the divine gift of existence, it has to have the quality of being. It has to essentially allow the divine creative power to create it. This is called receiving chayas from Elokus. Why it's called chayas? The reason it's called chayas, because in Elokus everything is in the category of chayas. There is no such thing as an inanimate presence. In order for anything to exist, it has to be ready to accept the chayus principle. And what is the chayus principle? The highest principle is that there is meaning to its existence. There's meaning to its existence, and there is meaning to everything else that it comes across. Everything is an intended presence. Everything has a message. In order to be able to relate to this phenomenon of existence at the divine level, there must be the principle of being. Which means one can receive purely that which is there to receive, that which is shown and given, without the need for it to judge, do I want it or not? Do I agree with this or not? This is the principle of beetle at the most fundamental level. This beetle is what allows for the creation of existence. So to summarize and review the principle that we just now introduced. There is no such thing as existence without a divine meaning to it. And therefore, in order to relate to existence at any level, one has to allow himself to be taught by the divine presentation what he is looking at. Shooting from beat. We don't know it on our own. We know it only on the basis of what we are being taught and told to understand. And this is what the Rebbe explains in this bottom section. At least we're going to go to it. The bottom section of page Kuf Nun Hey. There is a continuous draw.
Excuse me. Can Rabbi Paltiel adjust a little for the videos?
Sure. Which way should I adjust it?
Shlomi, can you say, I don't know how to, no, the other way. No, the other way. It should. We want to see the left side. My left side. I want to see. It's not centered. No, the other way.
Push to the right.
How's that?
I can't see. Shlomo?
Me either. The video went down.
How
Oh,
is
here
that?
we go.
Is it
Okay,
good?
we hear the voice. Main thing is the voice.
Wait a second. I don't see anybody.
Oh, here we go. 1 second.
Rabbi,
Okay.
if you touch,
All right. I see Rabbi Banda. That's the only one I see.
okay,
Okay.
here I am as well.
Okay,
But
you have
Rabbi,
to.
I'm not sure we see you. And the reason is if you touch your screen, you'll see lower left. There's a icon for video on or video off. And I think you might have turned off your video.
I should turn it off.
No, I think you did. I think it
see.
is off right now. And
Okay,
I
I'll try.
think
I'll try. 1 second. Hold on. On the
you
bottom
just
left,
touch the
right?
screen. And
I
on the
just
bottom
did.
left,
Start video. It said start video.
stop.
Yes. Yeah. Start video.
Start video.
Here we
You're
go.
back.
You're back.
Oh.
So push your
I'm
phone.
back.
Turn your phone a little bit to the right, to your right.
To my
Exactly.
right.
Let's go back. That-
Okay. Excellent.
Perfect.
No,
Perfect.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Go
It's
back.
not perfect.
It's
Go
not.
back
It's,
where?
put it back the way it was. A little more to the right. Just a tiny bit. Okay, good enough.
All right.
Okay. No, it's
Maybe
not
now
good.
we can start learning Chassidus.
Okay, so we have the voice anyway.
All right, fine. So this is where the principle of beetle comes in. I'm reviewing again what it says on the top of the page. This is something very new to us. The principle of beetle comes in on the most fundamental level. Just for the principle of existence, there must be the from beetle. Because existence, this is, again, this is a breakthrough concept, revolutionary concept, because in our worldly orientation, world existence is a fundamental presence. Just exists there without any interference from any place. This is a mistaken and erroneous view. There is no such thing as a world existence. Existence is a divine presentation. And in order to relate and to accept things from the divine, there has to be the union of beetle. And this is where the beetle comes in. This beetle is on the most fundamental level. And this is what the Rebbe says, that which you already learned, that even in Klippas, in Sitrachen, there must be al koponim somewhat of the union beetle. Because without beetle, there is no existence to it. Now,
Can I ask a question before you go on?
yeah, just want to complete this thing. There's beetle. This beetle, what is it bottled to? It is bottled to the divine source. It allows the divine highest to make it be. That's beetle. Therefore, it should follow that everything should be clearly aware and experiencing, more than aware, experiencing throughout its whole existence, that its presence is a divine presence. And yet, we do not have this sense. The reason we do not have this sense is that this contribution of the divine is in a very concealed, in a very remote manner. I'm not finished. I just want to conclude this point. You have to understand. We are alive, Baruch Hashem. And this thing that we are alive is something to us is perfectly natural, so to speak. We cannot think of any other way. And yet we know clearly that this life element and the whole experience that we have in living in the world, when you open my eyes and I see, I know that I see with my eyes, and I know that I see that which my heart, my mind can interpret. In other words, there is some kind of a chayus in me that allows me to experience the worldly existence. This chayus we take for granted. We are constantly with it. We do not have to tell our eyes, make sure you see. They open their eyes and they see. This is common in our life experience. Yet, the very truth is that this life experience is a gift from the divine. It's a chayus eliki.
So I'm sorry, just want to ask, in the beginning of the shiur, we spoke about chayus that allows the divine creative power. And now we're talking about the chayus that allows to see the worldly existence. So there's two types of chayus.
Anything coming from the divine is chayus.
Okay, but one gives access to creative divine existence, and one allows to worldly existence.
No, I don't understand. What's the question? One is what?
Okay, no, forget about it. I'll call you about it later.
I introduced it to you today that existence per se is chayus.
Okay.
Because it all comes from the divine.
Okay, good enough.
It's all a miracle, a divine miracle. All right.
Time for my question?
Yes, please. I was interrupted, but whatever it is, go ahead. Here's your question.
I just want to understand the condition for existence is the bittul. Otherwise, this, you don't accept what God is offering. What is there who or what is it that is mevatel himself or itself if there is not yet an existence? If bittul has to come first, so what is it that's being bottled? There's no existence yet. This
Excellent
must be
question.
Okay.
Very good. Very, very good. And the answer to this question is that yes, indeed, existence and bittul come on the very same instant. And in simple terms, it means this, that as you are getting existence, simultaneous with that, you are getting the sense that this existence is something which is given to you. And this is where the bittul element is. There's a source. There's a source for this.
That answers the question. Thank you.
I'm sorry?
That answers my question.
Excellent. Very good. Okay, so we're going into the bottom section on page Kuf Nun Hey. And the Rebbe says, I'm just going through the first lines and so on. Pretty much because we go to the Nazi Hashminis, the Queen of Sodom Kama, Agam, Shashaya, Be Islam, Queen Sepnimi. Odom Kadmai is the Makif, is a super presence in the world. It is not a presence in the world that can be recognized and identified from a worldly standpoint. Hislapshus B'chinas Epnimi we already discussed the other day, and we will repeat it again. Hislapshus means to be incorporated, dressed up. Just like when a person puts on a garment, lavush. You put on a garment. Inside the garment is your body. Yet, it is via your garment that you are presenting your body. This garment translates your body in the message that this garment represents. We see a soldier in a soldier's uniform, we say, I don't see a uniform, I see a soldier. Because the soldier has imbued himself into and present himself via this uniform. The reason he puts on a uniform is because in his essence, personal identity, he is a soldier. In order to present himself what he is, he puts on a uniform so to be looked at and seen that way. This is the principle of Hislapshus. Odom Kadmon is the presentation of the divine presence. Divine presence cannot be known, cannot be contained in any kind of a container, cannot be presented, just as we say all the time. You can't take an element, you said the other day, you look at daylight. Can you then capture daylight in a container and carry it with you or bring it to you, to whatever you want? It's a real experience. And yet, it doesn't exist on that level of oipnimi. It exists only when it is part of daylight in general. And this is the principle what Rebbe says here. Odom Kadmon, this is the divine presence as it is presented to the world. So even though that is really presented to the world, however, it remains in the presentor's realm. The world cannot capture this in its own means. It's called oipnimi. It is there only while it is being given. And it is the giver's consciousness, the giver's identity that makes it real to you.
On a un lit, le Rebbe a fait une chenille, et il y a 7 ou 8 personnes qui voient ça.
So now, the interesting thing is that the Rebbe is taking us along that you should understand. Like we explained right now on the motion of daylight. You cannot capture it. Despite the fact that you cannot capture it, you cannot put it into any kind of a human perception. I know what it is. There's no way to know what it is. Yet, in a certain sense, we can personally relate to it. We know what daylight is. We know what light is. Although we cannot really define it. I said the other day, please explain to me what light is. When you look at the sky, what do you see? Mentioned many times. We are always enticed, drawn to look at the sky. And you can look at it indefinitely. Then you ask somebody, okay, what did you see? It comes up blank. You cannot in any which way explain what he said. Because he is looking at something which is true from the shower, from the source perspective, rather than from the recipient's perspective. And the world experience is nothing here. What you see is that there is something higher than world, and it's presented to you in a way that you should be able to see. But you're seeing it from the perspective of that which is higher than. The concept of existence, concept of daylight, is not a worldly concept. I mentioned many times, now that we got into it, maybe we'll get it clearly, we want to reflect on it. We have light and we have daylight. I have to get my phone. Okay. We have light and we have daylight. There's a big difference between these two. Light, like you have a candle light. The light is a contained light, and you see where it's coming from and how the direction is going. Daylight is encompassing the entire existence. It seems without any effort, without any source. It makes the world lit up. Makes the world lit up. What light is that? This is what it says right in the first part, in the first day of creation. It says that Hashem said, "Let there be light," and there was light. That is all before the creation of the solar and lunar system. Let there be light. This let there be light. Excuse me, just 1 second. I just want to transfer myself closer to the electric outlet. So that I don't lose power. Okay, I'm safe now. Okay, can you see me? I don't see, I'm trying to see myself.
Yeah, we see you, Rabbi.
Okay,
And you're centered.
I don't see you. Okay, one second.
Here, I'll turn on my video for a second. Now
Okay,
you see
fine.
me as well.
Okay, be back
And
to
if you Mhm.
I'm here to plug it in, otherwise I'd lose power.
Sure thing. And you want to just check that you're in the frame so that we can see
Yeah,
you.
I can see myself. I can see you.
Perfect.
Okay, very good. Just want to get my paper, my book.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Je peux y aller, Biblo?
What? Okay, we're in. Hello? Okay.
Not for me.
What?
No call for me.
No.
You saw the time?
Yeah.
I'm on the phone 40 minutes. I still can't get this man.
Rabbi Paltiel,
Yes, yes, yes. I'm trying to.
you're talking about daylight and light, day and light.
Right. So I explained the difference between daylight and light. Light is a limited light, and you see where it's coming from and how
1 second. Is the recharger put in? There's the power in the phone?
What?
Did you get the power?
Yeah, the power is put in.
Okay. We can't see you now. You can see if you see yourself in the
You
box.
can't see me?
No.
So should I hit the box?
No, you need to lower, Rabbi, you need to lower the frame so you can see yourself, and that way you know that we see you.
All right.
That's better. You want to see yourself.
I see you.
That's fine, but you want to see yourself in the small frame. You can see your kitchen.
I see myself in the
You
small
can
frame.
see.
Oh,
There it is.
Now you do. That's better.
Oh.
But keep
Okay.
it so that you're center frame.
All
Now
right.
it's back to the cabinet.
Yeah.
Nope, that's the
Okay.
cabinetry. That's the ceiling.
Okay. I see you and you see me, right?
How about if we don't worry
No,
about
we
it, we
don't
just
see you.
listen?
We see the ceiling. Okay. We see the
Are we
ceiling.
set? Are we set?
Sure, yarmulke. We say the yarmulke sometimes.
Okay.
we
That's
can't
good.
see.
You can?
No.
We
Let's
can't
try
see
it.
you,
Let's
but
get it
we know
once
you're
straight
there.
and for all. Let's get it straight for all. If Rabbi Paltiel if you see yourself in the box, then it means that we see you.
I
Otherwise,
see
we
myself in
can't
the
see you.
box.
Not now. Not now you don't. You see your ceiling and the cabinets. There's no way you see yourself.
Okay, so how do I make it visible?
You tilt your phone down and towards yourself. And now you can see the top of your head. Keep tilting down. Nope. Nope. Down. Keep tilting the phone down towards yourself. Yeah. And now you'll see the top of your head. Keep doing it more, and you'll see better, more. Okay, it doesn't look like that phone can be positioned. It looks like it's
Well, the problem is
just
that the
tilting.
wire it doesn't let me tilt it.
I
What about
understand.
this way? Let me see. Oh, good. It'll work this way. Fine. Can you see me?
Yes, if your hand's over the camera, but now it's much better. If you tilt it 20 degrees, 10 degrees down again, we'll see more of your face. It's still high. As you can see, it's high.
Okay, now it's perfect. Now it's fine.
Okay. Hello, everybody.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone to mute the phone if they don't want to ask
I'm sorry,
a question,
what?
please. Everyone should mute only if they want to ask a question.
I always want to ask a question, so I should keep it on, you're saying. Just kidding.
All right. So we were discussing the oil, the makif of Ak, of Odom Kadmon. So the Rebbe explains, and even though this makif cannot be mislabesh in a container, in a final container, yet the ha'ora, the reflection of this oil, must be present in everything. Because this is the definition of existence for everything. In the sense that the ha'ora is present everywhere, therefore it has also an inyan, what's called the ha'ora is identified, is recognized. And it's recognized by AYIN, this is recognized as the ha'ora of Holocaust. This is what identifies a Yid versus every other creature in the world. Every creature in the world knows only itself. A Yid knows where his life comes from. He senses the ha'ora, the oil, the key from which that gives him life. And this is what he says over here on the third line on Samachal. And this is the principle. Shekneses Yisrael Nikro Kala. The Knesset Yisrael, the Jewish people, the Jewish nation, is called Kala. What did what Kala mean? Kala is Miloshin Kol Sol Nafshi. Is rooted in the word Kol Sol Nafshi. My soul goes out. The word Kol Sol goes out, comes from the word Koil. The entire being is relating to its source. There is no personal being besides that which is receives from its source. This is AYIN. Okay, at the end of the third line. Sheyesh b'kol echad b'yachad miYisrael, which means that it is present in every Yid. Benitus nishmose. Benitus nishmose. In the spark of his neshama. Okay, we have to review a whole discussion that we had on the word nitzus. Many of you probably still remember it, but in order for us to bring us up to date, we have to review this principle. What does a nitzus nishmose imply? What is the difference between neshama and nitzus nishmose? Neshama, here I'd like to feedback and see if I'm coming through, if we getting the point. Neshama is a whole chayas, source of chayas, of life. It's a living, divine presence. And as such, it itself is a living divine presence. And anything it touches, it gives life to it. It's a life. Even the neshama in the guf is also a living neshama. Each of the neshama is alive, and it makes everything alive that it touches, that it imbues in. Then there is that which we all of a sudden call nitzus neshama, the spark of the neshama. What's implied by the word spark? So that again, we'll step away from the neshama for a moment and go to where spark, but you know what a spark is. A spark is a flicker of light, but only a flicker of light. There's fire and there's light all over the place. Then there's a flicker. What does that flicker represent? There's a hot fire. So what's the flicker about? If you think into it, you'll be able to sense the principle. The fire is a fire for itself. And it also has the capacity to burn up everything, to light up everything and to burn everything up. A fire is not only speaking about itself. A fire is speaking about its effect on its surroundings. This is why when there's a fire, you have to know how to deal with it. Many times you have to run away from the fire. Hello? Oh, shucks.
Yes.
Do you see me?
You're still here, Rabbi Paltiel. Don't worry about whether we could see you. We can hear you. Don't interrupt.
Okay. You know what happened that you don't see me? Okay. Okay, so a fire.
Rabbi Paltiel, continue. Don't play with you don't have to play with the phone. We don't have much time left anyway.
Okay. So a fire has a presence and has an effect on its surrounding. A flicker, a nitzutz, is a pure representation of the essence of the fire. It does not affect anything. When there's a flicker, when there's a nitzutz, you don't have to run and protect yourself against it. Because nitzutz doesn't burn anything. just presents the presence of the Paya. In a similar way, which is a proper morsel, so to speak, to understand the needs of the neshama. There's a neshama. Neshama has 10 koiches, hundreds of koiches, and it brings life to everything. Then there is a nitzutz on neshama. The nitzutz of neshama is to identify what neshama itself is, not its effect on the goof. What is neshama? What is neshama? What is the question? What is neshama? Neshama gives life to the goof. Says no. The giving life to the goof, this is already the function of the neshama. What is neshama per se? Neshama per se is the divine presence. The message of neshama is that there's a divine presence right here. This is neshama. This aspect of neshama is referred to as the nitzutz of the neshama. Because this nitzutz, this is not neshama in a functional level. This is just telling you what neshama stands for. What am I about? Where is it coming from? What's the meaning of its presence? And this is what Rebbe says. The nitzutz of neshama, the meaning of the presence of neshama, which is expressed in its nitzutz, in the spark. The message of the spark is that there is a divine presence. Let me rephrase that. The divine presence is not the answer. The nitzutz of neshama is a statement for the neshama that it is longing to be incorporated in the divine. This is nitzutz of neshama. The union is not to be a neshama and to be functional, but its union is to be incorporated in the divine itself. This is called nitzutz on neshama. That's why it comes out in the form of a spark. Because when it comes into mitzias, it doesn't want to be mitzias. It goes right back into its source. That's why a spark lasts only one moment. So in this nitzutz of the neshama, there is the draw, the constant draw. Not to be a mitzias, but to be incorporated in the divine source. This is what the Rebbe says over here. I'm reading inside again. Okay, at the very end, the very last words of the fourth line from the top of Oisam Chalev, and then we go further. The Shomish is what are called Kala. Kala is Meloshin Kos on Nafshi, when the Shoma goes out, which means that it is present. There is in every Eid, benitzutz nishmos, in the nitzutz of the Shoma. In other words, the spark of the Shoma. But the neshama speaks about what the neshama is, not what the neshama's function is. In the nitzutz neshama, there is the inyan likolel v'yidovik b'Hashem echad, to be incorporated and to cleave to Hashem echad. Likolel v'yidovik b'Hashem echad. Now, having finally coming to this, we owe it to ourselves to reflect on the inferences of what Hashem Echad. Why it's not enough to say Likol Vidol B'Hashem? What is additional description? Likol Vidol B'Hashem Echad.
No, just an hour and a half.
What?
An hour and a half.
Hashem, this is Hashem's presence that has an effect and gives life to the entire existence. The neshama is cleaving, is drawn, not to Hashem on account of the fact that it gives chayas, it gives light. The reason the neshama is drawn to Hashem is because of the essence of Hashem. The essence of Hashem is described, is alluded to by the word Hashem Echad. What is Echad? Tell us. What is the inference of the word Echad? Echad means exclusively one. This one does not mean to imply there is only one, there is no two. This one implies that everything that there is really part of, is one and the same thing. The oneness of Elokus. Hashem Echad, does not mean in Hashem Echad there's only one God. It means in the Echt Achdus Hashem, in the essence of Achdus Hashem. What is the essence of Achdus Hashem? The essence of Achdus Hashem is that the primary message of Elokus, of what a Yid is drawn to in Elokus, is the Achdus element, rather than all the greatness and all the richness that he can identify in it. It is the Achdus, the fact that there is the simple unity, the simple, precise oneness. The oneness of Hashem, this is what Ayidus and Shom is doing. Why the oneness of Hashem? Why not all the richness? Because the oneness of Hashem is connected to the truth of Hashem. And we had the moshel for us to understand what is this oneness, how do we identify this oneness? Now, we cannot identify oneness in Hashem, but the concept of oneness we can identify. This is where last time we went into the discussion of a table standing on 4 legs, on 3 legs, and then finally a table standing on 1 leg. The difference between these different versions.
Is anyone there?
Yeah. That when a table stands on 4 legs, it stands because it supports itself. Not because of the truth where it is present. It supports itself on 4 legs, on 3 legs. And we discussed it at the time. The 4 legs is when it stands, it tilts in one direction, you put up another leg, you try the other one, you put another leg. Then it stands on 1 single leg. Standing on 1 single leg is pointing directly to the essence of where does it stand. Well, it's not standing because it supports itself. It's standing because there's a true support, a true presence for it, a true base for its standing. Hashem Echad is the recognition of the neshama that Hashem is not just a source of life, but Hashem is the Echad Oemes, is the truth of life, the truth of being. That is what the neshama is doing. And here I need to elaborate a little bit. This is a unique insight that the neshama has. Looking at the world, opening the eyes, we see all kinds of different things. And we know all these things are supported and held up somehow. Then there is the principle of Hashem Echad, where there is nothing but one Nekuda, one truth. This one truth is not a presence, a worldly presence. It's not a presence altogether. It's a principle of truth. This is Hashem Echad. The neshama is drawn to that principle, to that reality. Hello? I still have you with me?
I don't think so.
Yes.
Yes, then he's telling. Okay. Okay, so this is the principle that the Rebbe says, that the neshama is drawn to Hashem Echad. And that's what it's called Kala. Because Hashem Echad does not have a mitzias, does not have a dimension, a worldly presentation, a place to be. It's a union that you go out to its unity, to its truth. That's what it's called Kolso. For all mitzias, everything ceases to be. There's only one truth, the focus of the Echad. And that is what the neshama is drawn to.
I have to say goodbye to the Rebbe until my phone is losing its
Fine,
life.
say goodbye, but just want to know if I made the point here.
You made the point, absolutely.
Okay, Baruch Hashem.
Good talk.
And then the advantage of the videos besides seeing is that we are able to record the share.
No, I did not hear what you said, Shlomo. Say again.
The video is not only the seeing, it's that we are able to record the share.
Aha, okay, very good. Very good.
Okay, so
Have a good morning, Rabbi Paltiel. Thank you.
Okay, so it's only, if you have it, finally, we
Yeah,
identified the point of Hashem Echad. And
mine.
I'm very happy that we were able to get there.
Thank you.
Okay, Kol Tov, have a great day.
Yes.
All the best.
We need all
Great day.
brachas.
Thank you,
Everyone
Rabbi.
behind us.
Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
yes.
Maybe Rabbi Paltiel should give us a little bit chizuk in this difficult time.
Oi. The strength, the chinuch, the chizuk that we can get,
Okay, listen to my husband speaking to the whole group. You need to
the
listen.
chizuk that we can get.
Okay, I don't have to disturb him.
No, listen, just listen. Listen, it's good.
The
for you.
chizuk that we can
okay.
get under these difficult
Okay.
times. Okay, Shah, in these difficult times, it is important to focus on the principle that we were just now discussing. The truth of being, the truth of our being, the truth of Jewish being. Although we have our homes and we have our families, and we have our communities and so forth, the truth of our being is this, the Kudah of Hashem Echad that permeates. Hashem Echad is not a remote presence. Hashem Echad is the presence that permeates and gives presence to everything else. So that everything is really incorporated in Hashem Echad.
But,
by focusing on this inyan, that everything is permeated by Hashem Echad, you know that Echad is not vulnerable. Everything on the periphery is vulnerable. The Echad of Hashem Echad is not vulnerable. That stands under all circumstances. He cannot be attacked and affected by coronas. It looks down at corona and it makes it evaporate. With Hashem's help, with Mebish's help, and with our focus and recognizing this truth, this is how we are going to do away with corona.
Can Paltiel explain what is it meant by saying that we cannot get attacked by corona?
We are not protecting ourselves against corona. We are doing away with corona. Corona is a klipa, a destructive element in the world. We rise above it. We look down on it and we cause it to evaporate into nothingness. This is the principle of Hashem Echad.
Meaning to say, if we focus in Hashem Echad, that's how we combat, to say, the klipa?
That's right. That's how we do away with corona. Not protect against it, but do away from it. Because Hashem Echad is a source of life. Anything that interferes with life is immediately attacked and nullified by Hashem Echad.
We have to take the Gashmi, but on the other hand, we are being told to listen to the authorities and to take all the precautions. So it gives us the impression that the cautions, what we're doing, that's what protects us.
No, that's only temporary protection. That does not do away with it. While it is still floating around, before we Hashem Echad managed to do away with it, we have to protect ourselves. But this is not our means of life. This is not how we don't give credence, we don't respect this corona power. We say we eliminate it because in truth it doesn't belong in the world. Any destructive power does not belong in the world. When we go and identify with the truth of the source of eloquence, Hashem Echad, this is how we are going to eliminate corona out of our midst altogether.
I was not clear when it was said before that the way we take out the precautions in the worldly terms is still Hashem Echad manages. I was not clear in what that meant.
Okay.
Does Hashem need to be managed, or the opposite way, we need to manage?
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. I will explain it with a mashal, as we always do. Very simple mashal that we always mention. You look up, you open your eyes, and you look up into the worldly expanse. It's a huge expanse. We can't even surmise its size and its expense. Yet, here's an important point. Wherever you look, you are seeing the very same reality. It's not that you look east, you see one part of it, you look west, another part of it. Wherever you look, you see the whole thing. This is the principle of Hashem Echad. Although we do have east and west and Milo and Mato, but that's only in our perception. In reality, east and west and Milo and Mato is one in the same thing. A perfect unity. Coming back to our menace of the corona, the corona has captured the world. Has captured the world. It's all over in the world. But it's only in the world, not in the godly truth that permeates the world. The godly truth that permeates the world remains a divine truth. Ultimately, this divine truth will clean everything up and will surface back to in its fullest purity. What do you mean?
You hit Yossi finally, but
What do you mean?
so far so good. He's giving class today.
The divine truth is what's going to defeat all the contaminations of the coronas. In other words, what I'm saying is this: no matter how contaminated the world becomes, there's a divine truth underlying all that cannot be contaminated. And this is what's going to surface and the ultimate victory. Coming back with its fullest purity. This is what we are looking at. We're looking for.
And what about cautions from the worldly standpoint, what we are doing now?
We have to take cautious because we are still oriented in the worldly sense. But ultimately, we will surface out of the worldly sense, and we will all be able to look into the divine truth, and then we will surface out of it. I believe that the corona is a means of Hashem to make us focus on the truth of the Lucas.
But if we have mechuyev to act in the worldly matters and we combat the corona with the worldly matters, how we will come from that to Hashem Echad?
When we act in a worldly manner, we act in the world from the perspective of Hashem Echad. Like I mentioned the other day, many times, we have mitzvahs. I give you an example of mitzvahs. You take a box, a leather box, and you write some words on a parchment, and you tie the boxes on your head and your hand, and you say, I'm declaring, I'm connected to Hashem Echad. Where is that? How is that connected to Hashem? Maybe you sit down and learn, you think with your seichel. Where is it connected to Hashem Echad? Through the boxes. The answer is that these boxes is our declaration that the Hashem Echad is not displaced by worldly experience. So even though we function in the world, but the reason we function in the world is because we recognize the Hashem Echad in the world. So we take all the precautions. The point of these precautions is that the world should not affect us. Instead, we should relate to the Hashem Echad that gives the world a presence. It is not the precaution that give us life. It is Hashem's presence that gives us life.
I understand it, but one point I'm still not clear. How not to get lost, because we are mechuyev to do what's demanded on the worldly level. How will this lead us to Hashem Echad? This is my struggle now.
Right. Okay. All right. Reb Shlomo, I don't know if you drive a car, but you know what a car is. A car is driven by a driver, and a car has a destination, a point where he wants to go to. And typically, when you drive a car, you have to take all kinds of different turns in order to get to the point where you want to go. Now think of it. You want to go from here to Montreal. Montreal is north from us. As you're going to Montreal, because you're driving on the ground, you will be taking turns right and left. You'll be going north, you'll be going south, you'll be going east and west. So you ask yourself, why am I going east and west? I want to go north. The answer is that due to the limits of the world, the contours of the world, sometimes you have to go east in order to go north. Sometimes you have to go west in order to go north. Sometimes you have to go south in order to go north. But we always focus on going in the same direction. This is the answer to your question. We are always focused on the very same point. Always. Despite the fact that we have to detour in one way or another under circumstances. So we're dealing with circumstances, not the truth of our being, not the truth of the world that we are living in. We are dealing with a given circumstance. In your own home, Reb Shlomo, you have tables and chairs. Sometimes in your own home, you want to go from one place to the other place, and you have to go around the table. Does that mean that your home is being usurped? That you're no longer the boss in your home? You can't go where you want to go? This is exactly how we relate to the world. To the coronas. We don't take them as realities. We have to deal with them under the circumstances. Why is there such a circumstance that you have to deal with the corona in the world? That is a powerful question. The answer is that the Rebbe wants that we should recognize Hashem in the worldly context. We should not lose sight of Hashem even though we are in the world. So for us to get lost in the world, in protecting ourselves against corona, this is not the point at all. It's the opposite of the point.
That's my question.
The point is that we should keep focus even though we have to take turns.
Yeah, but was asked before, why is there such a thing as corona? How will this lead, and how is this showing the Hashem Echad, the corona? The corona is showing the opposite of Hashem Echad.
Okay.
If you have Jewish, come over here.
1 second.
I have a
Oh yeah, my wife's suggesting that I move now to the table, and then I'll be more comfortable probably. Just 1 second. I'll be with you in a moment.
I can always give you an extension.
What?
You can have extension.
I'm sorry, what?
We have extension wires I can provide you.
That's okay. I have enough power right now. Okay. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take a moment interruption, just 1 moment. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay.
They're still there.
They're there. Okay, Baruch Hashem. All right, we're back. So Shlomo, I want to attend to your question. You still there?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Shlomo, you're there, right?
Yes.
Okay. The mother says, by Sheshes Bereshis, it says, "Vayaroikim eskol asher osa." Many times you say "Vayaroikim kitoiv." And you say it live, like kitoiv. Many times you say "Vayaroikim kitoiv." At the very end, it says, "Vayaroikim eskol asher osa vayhine toiv ma'oid." What does this ma'oid add? The same thing. Vayaroikim eskol asher osa. V'hinei toiv ma'oid. After the end of the Sheshes Bereshis, it says, Hashem said, V'hinei toiv ma'oid. The Gemara says, toiv, she's a toiv. Ma'oid, she's a hora. How's me, she's a hora, is toiv ma'oid? Okay, please tell me if you're with me, and if I lose you even for a moment. Hashem created the world. The world really is not a real presence. It's a created presence. There's no basis of being. It does not speak for itself at all. Its whole being is because the Rebbe makes it. So it's not a worldly being, it's a divine being. When you're in the world, and the reality of your being is a divine rather than worldly, you don't sense the true experience of being. There's a continuous conflict. It's not real. In the world, in order to identify in the world the truth of being, there has to be a worldly being. Because that's what's real to you. So here Hashem created a world that is only Yetzer Tov, which means a world that is focused on the heavens, on Ruchnius. It's wonderful. But then there would not be a real orientation, a self-orientation that I'm really a Metzias, and I'm really here. The whole Metzias is the way I see it from a higher perspective, from elsewhere, from the source. Not from a worldly presence, from the divine presence. So our being in the world is not real. It's an illusion. It looks like we are there, but really that's not where we are. That's not what makes us be. If we in the world only know of good, of godliness, don't know of worldliness, then our presence our presence is not real. Because every time that we want to identify with presence, we have to apply our seichel, say what is really there. That which is tangible in front of us is not real there. We can relate to it. This is why it says, at the end of creation, which means the Yetzer Hara is that part of the human orientation, that the world itself, not the divine presence, the world itself becomes something that is real. That's enticing. That pulls your attention. This is when the world became real. And this is why this is Toiv Me'od. This is when reality itself identified within the world itself. When you see that world is real, that's when you recognize that world is a divine creation. Because to create something real, only God can do that. This is what Pshat, Toiv Me'od, Me'od the Yetzer Hara. And this is Me'od, this is when Hashem showed his own presence in the world. But you see that world is really a divine level creation. And this is the answer to your question. Yes, indeed. We are functioning in the world. But what does world represent? If world is real, it is only due to the fact that there is a divine koyach that makes it. Not the divine koyach that makes it. That there is a divine reality, a divine truth that the world represents.
How do this corona is attacking even the world?
Well,
yeah, how does this corona saying that the world is real? It's attacking the world itself.
the corona and such like destructive elements of life show that yes, indeed, everything that was created, everything comes from God. And therefore, its purpose is really to give life, to maintain life. But Hashem has created everything as a real presence, which means it's real on the worldly level itself. Therefore, ultimately, to reveal the divine truth in the world, you have to combat the world from the world source itself. To combat the evil in the world by hide the world is not what?
And how does this bring out the divine truth when world attacks the world itself?
It shows that this lowly creature world is really has a divine koyach. It can fight world itself. And therefore, to combat it, you have to revert to in the world itself, to that in the world group that is deeper than world. To recognize that world itself has a super koyach.
So it was said like this: the Yetzer Hara entices us to the world, and this brings out that we look at world as a real entity, so to say, and a real entity testifies there's a divine koyach there's a divine koyach because it's real. And now we're saying that that if something is able to fight the world, that shows also that the world is divine, that the world has the capacity to fight the world.
Let us go back slightly to the recent world history. Surely you know the tsuras and destruction that communism brought onto the world. Simultaneous at the same time, but Nazism, the destruction that Nazism brought onto the world. Let's talk about communism for a moment. Communism was a very powerful presence in the world. And the principle of communism is, communism comes from the word community. When human beings got together and form a union, that's called communism. They say this union is so powerful, nothing can budge it. It's a union from within the world itself. It's a union from within the reality of the world itself. This is how come he has such powerful and was able to conquer the whole world. This union also was destroyed. How was it destroyed? How do we conquer this evil? The difference between communism, the union amongst human beings, and the union of the whole world that ultimately was victorious over that is when communism is a union within the world itself, a union among human beings, and they decide they can be independent of everything else. The real union in the world is the divine union that unites everything. And this is what defeated communism. In order to bring out the power of real union in the world, it has to go through all these challenges until it comes out victorious on top of all other powers within the world itself.
Don, did you find it? You got it? Is it good?
All right. Shlomo, I think this is the point that we're looking for. Yes, you're fighting something which is contrary to the codes, a destructive thing in the world. But in order to be victorious over that, you have to recognize that within this the destructive power in the world is also representing the divine truth. This is how that's possible altogether. No. Ultimately, what happened in the world in communism, for example, was that communism, which speaks about the unity among human beings, and they say we're all powerful, we don't need anything else. What happened ultimately is that the unity among human beings came to bring out the divine unity in the world. This is how it was defeated.
Here.
Coming to recognize that the unity in the world is really given to it by the divine presence. This is what defeats its evil. Shlomo? Hello?
Yeah, it's all recorded.
Okay, Baruch Hashem. So I think I answered your question. I think maybe we should heal. Okay, have a great day. And B'suras Tevis, we should only know of good. And Corona should be behind us, a lost in history.
Amen. Amen. Kol Tev.
Kol Tev.